Hello and welcome to the post-market update from Nirmal. I am here all Dadia. Clearly, what a volatile day of trade is what we witnessed in today's session. Clearly, markets have though ended in the positive, but it's marginal gains that we've seen, and we've ended off the day's highest levels. Markets actually paired the gains in the last 2 hours of trading session, and this volatility was high mainly on the back of the weekly expiry that we saw today. Sensex and Nifty ended with marginal gains of around 0.2%. However, if you see Bank Nifty, we saw gains of around 0.6% to the tune of almost little over 150 points that did come in on Bank Nifty. In fact, you did have the broader markets that clearly outperformed the benchmark indices in trade, and energy, real estate and metals were the top losing sectors. These were the ones that were putting pressure, whereas FMCG Telecom were the top gaining sectors in trade. In terms of stocks as well, if you see RIL, ICICI Bank and HDFC, these were the main components that were actually dragging the Nifty lower in today's day of trade. And you had Kotak, Mahindra Bank and TCS that did give in some bit of support, and that's one of the major reasons why we did see a positive close in today's session. In fact, Sensex slipped almost around 420 points from the day's highest level. So that's the kind of gyrations that we've seen in today's market. Let's quickly see what happened to the rupee as well. That has actually strengthened versus the dollar. So that's something which is having an impact on the pharma as well as the IT pack as a whole. Overall, if you see in terms of the advanced decline ratio, that was pretty much in favor of the bulls. So that's something which is still slightly positive. And if you talk about Nifty 50 as well, one thing we need to notice, we've ended above the levels of 11,250. So there is some bit of positivity that does continue. That range bound momentum is expected to remain, and there will be some bit of consolidation as well that could be on the cards. Apart from that, if you see in terms of stock specific action, Yes Bank, HCL Tech, Britannia, Eicher Motors, Kotak Mahindra Bank, these were the top losers on Nifty, top gainers on Nifty 50, I beg your pardon. Yes Bank in fact surged by almost around 26% on reports that probably the government is advising the SBI to invest and pick up equity in Yes Bank. So let's see what happens on that front. Moving away from that, Zee Entertainment, Hindalco, Bharti Airtel, Vedanta, Reliance Industries were the top losers. On the broader markets, you had OBC, Syndicate Bank, Union Bank of India as well as Allahabad Bank. These are few of the counters that saw smart gains, whereas there was pressure on stocks like Future Lifestyle, Gayatri Projects and Misra, Dhatu, Nigam. Nestle interestingly hit a 52-week high. In fact, there is some bit of momentum that's again picking up in the FMCG sector as a whole. Hope that the momentum that we're seeing in the stock prices that actually translates into the retail world also, because there is a lot of pressure on the economy that is in turn impacting volume growth as a whole. Ajanta Pharma, Dabur India, Pidilite Industries, these were a few of the other counters as well which hit a 52-week high. Yes Bank, ITC, Bajaj Corp, Dilip Buildcon, Dish TV, EIH, Imami, these are counters that hit a 52-week low in today's day of trade. Let's understand which were the movers and shakers. Cadila Healthcare, that stock was up in trade and ended with gains as the DGCI approval is what they've got for the hepatitis drug. Parag Milk Foods has hit an all-time low. In fact, the stock is down almost 74% from its 52-week high. FDC and 3M India also gained on heavy volume. So, stocks moving on volumes was really high in today's day of trade. Apart from these counters, few other names that we want to highlight is even a Yes Bank. We already spoke about it. The stock has surged in trade. The aviation counters have been trading under pressure, especially Indigo and SpiceJet, and this is on the back of impact of coronavirus in terms of where travel plans go. Beyond this, you have companies like Indian Hotels, Lemon Tree Hotels, as well as Chalet Hotels. These are few of the names that continue to remain in focus as well, because you could see some bit of a downtick that could be coming in, on these travel-related companies. Andhra Bank was in focus as the government hiked the stake in the bank. All cargo logistics surged in trade after SEBI's approval that they've got to acquire additional 26% stake in Gati. The open offer would be expected soon within the next 1 month. And as we spoke about Indian Hotels, that stock in fact did hit a 17-month low. So overall, a lot of movers and shakers that we witnessed, but clearly the heavyweights were the ones that actually dragged Sensex and the Nifty off their day's highest points. So it was mainly the benchmark indices that were actually trading under pressure, the heavyweights that were actually impacting them, and media, metal, real estate were the key laggards. And the PSU banking space also interestingly did see a smart move in today's session. Market breadth, as we already mentioned, was nearly 1:1, but still was favoring the bulls. And if you see in terms of today's turnover on the markets, that's an interesting number that we need to note. Almost 37.56 lakh crores is what we are looking at in terms of where the market turnover goes on this weekly expiry day. So a big number coming in on that front. It's going to be an interesting day of trade tomorrow as well as to what happens, because you have the OPEC meeting. Now, what comes out of the OPEC as well in terms of where the production cut goes, that's something we will be watching out for in tomorrow's session of trade, and its impact in terms of where oil prices is concerned, and in turn the OMCs as well as an ONGC that will continue to remain in focus. But clearly the broad range, for the markets is going to be the narrow range that we're looking. But in fact, overall, if you see in terms of where markets go for tomorrow's session as well, they will continue to remain range bound. Let's see how the global markets also pan out. If there is pressure, we would be mirroring the same. But a range bound session consolidation is something that could be on the cards. That's all that we have in the post-market update. Thanks for watching. In fact, for more updates during the day, you could subscribe to our Nirmal Bank channel on YouTube and follow us on Twitter, Facebook and Instagram. Thanks for watching.